What's up, everybody? Welcome to Move the Sticks, presented by Old El Paso. DJ, Bucky, and Rhett back with you. Buck, start with you here. Oh, Rhett, what are you waving for?
Come on, Tommy Cutlets, baby, Tommy Cutlets, let's go.
Oh, we're gonna get to DeVito. I just want to welcome Buck back first here. Buck, how you doing?
Oh yeah, sure.
Man, I'm good. The travel prevented me from being on Monday's episode. Took me a while to get back from Cleveland, but I'm here. I'm in LA. I'm ready to rock. Got plenty of opinions to share.
Oh,
all right. Yeah, we took over for you yesterday and dug deep into that Jags-Browns game. You're welcome on that one for not having to come in and talk on that game. We got that covered for you. But let's spin it forward to last night's game. It's time for the Monday night recap, presented by Old El Paso, and we got a doubleheader. I say we start, first of all, Dolphins and the Titans. The game the Dolphins, as ugly as it was, had pretty much in control, going down to the end, up 14 with 3 minutes to go, Buck, and that's when the Will Levis magic took place.
Yeah, the Will Levis magic. Look, give the Tennessee Titans credit. This was a game that I don't think anybody coming in thought that the Titans had a reasonable chance of winning. The only way that we thought that maybe the Titans could win would be if the Miami Dolphins really helped them along the way. Turnovers, bad plays, and all that stuff. And lo and behold, the Miami Dolphins decided to help them along the way. The last part of the fourth quarter, they just couldn't finish out drives, couldn't finish the game the right way. Defense got surprisingly soft at the end, and Will Levis made enough plays. They got enough confidence. They got a 2-point conversion. The first time I've ever seen that tactic work, where you go for two, so you figure out what it is at the end, what you need. It worked. And so the Tennessee Titans still won. And I think the Miami Dolphins, they were rude the day that they lost this game, because it not only prevented them from claiming the number one seed, but now it opens up the floodgates for teams at the bottom end to sneak to the playoffs, for them to kind of be vulnerable when it comes to the Buffalo Bills. Man, bad loss for the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, and I would say that look at Will Levis. He loves it, man. It's fun to watch. That's an alpha dude, a competitor. He probably needs to, take care of himself, a little bit better on some of those scrambles, some of those runs where he's out there putting his shoulder down a little bit. But look, it's hard not to love the way he plays the game and the passion that he has for it. Listening to his interview after the game, it was all about just loving the opportunity with his guys, and I thought that was awesome. Now, for the Dolphins, this was a serious lack of situational football awareness. They're all over the place, really. And Mike McDaniel said that this loss really comes down to the way they played on offense in the red zone. I think you could certainly say that. The fumbled snap right there that you saw. I mean, look, it's unfortunate Connor Williams, the center, goes down. Liam Eichenberg comes in there, but he's played some center before. I know Tua said afterwards didn't get a lot of snaps with Eichenberg, but he's played some center in the absence of Connor Williams this season. I don't know that should cause that much of an issue in a pivotal situation there where you're about to put points on the board. Instead, the Titans are able to thwart that scoring opportunity. And then you had, you go back to the end of it, right, where you had the hold on Eichenberg on a third down play that allows the Titans to keep one of their timeouts, right? Stops the clock, saves them, 30, 40 seconds right there. Then you had the delay of game on Sealer, right, on defense. They were talking about it on the Mannycast as he was calling out the snap count, which is obviously you can't do. And so, you get one of those kind of oddball penalties at the end of a game, just like we saw in that Chiefs-Bills game, but still happened there. And then, you go back to the red zone offense, DJ, and I'll come to you on this here, because McDaniel's talking a lot about, those last couple of possessions, I think, where they were able to, those last two touchdowns they scored, they were in the red zone and they ran the ball on every play. Meanwhile, on the previous two red zone possessions, they threw the ball in almost every play and end up settling for 2 field goals. So the question is like, well, why didn't you just run it? Well, I get it's a little bit more complicated than that, but definitely for a team that's as good as they are on the ground in those situations, you'd like to think that they could rely on that a little bit more.
Yeah, a couple things. Number one, it is a good Titans front. So, I know the Titans aren't where they want to be right now, but that defensive front is a strength of their football team. And so you had that factor. And then going back and watching the tape this morning, it was just sloppy. I don't know what other word to use. I mean, you think about Tua, you got this issue with the center, you've got the fumbled snaps, you've got him slipping, falling down. He kind of ran himself into a sack. Like, it was just sloppy. all the way around the board for the Miami Dolphins. On the Will Levis thing, want to give him credit. Those last 2 drives, watching that tape this morning, we're going to get to the Giants game. But 2 of the bigger plays for both those teams were the exact same play. Kind of had a levels concept. You got a corner route, and they both hit the corner. Both the rookies were able to hit the corner route, and it was a big gain for them and kind of got their thing going a little bit. But look, check the ball down, use the backs, pop a screen, and then eventually, when you get your opportunities down the field, he hits Hopkins on a deep over. He had a corner route. So Will Levis did a nice job in the big moments of the game, and I think it also shows you as a rookie, you all want to be the first pick. You all want to be a top 5 pick. At the end of the day, it's more important. Go to the better team. Go where you've got some infrastructure in place. I think that was a good spot for him. I think he's got a chance to be a starting quarterback in this league for quite some time. But, Buck, we'll go around the horn quick one more time here. The other point on this one, and it'll catch up to where we go to the next game, be a good bridge for us. This was just upset week. It's a 17-game season, and it just felt like game after game after game, you had the team that was the better team, the favored team, just not playing clean football. And it showed you in the NFL, you got to show up every week, man. There's no directional schools on an NFL schedule.
Yeah, no, I think what it shows is, I think the league in general, there's not a dominant team. And so the playoffs are going to be fascinating because it won't be the best team that punches their ticket to Super Bowl 58. It will be the team that is the hottest team down the stretch. In the AFC in particular, when you look at the top, the Baltimore Ravens, but the Baltimore Ravens could have easily been knocked off by the LA Rams, if not for a very dramatic and spectacular punt return that was also littered with a bunch of penalties, but that's neither here nor there. Kansas City dropping games, Miami, the Jacksonville Jaguars. And so really, if you're a coach, you stand in front of the team today and you're just saying, hey guys, if we just get into the tournament, we got as good a shot as any team to doing it, because a lot of it is matchups and look how well you play on that given day. It's going to be interesting to see how these playoffs turn out, because I don't know if you can really bank on anybody being the favorite as it comes down to it.
This is NFL Game Day Preview. I don't know what I just said.
It's going to be a challenging game for both defenses. Look for a lot of points to be scored.
Oh, look at this. He's adjusting the camera. That's a
Oh, look at it. This is just me hoping my arm doesn't, give away.
Travis Etienne maybe is the guy that stirs this entire thing as an offense. He's one of the best running backs in all of football.
I mean, National Tight Ends Day. Why is there not a National Defensive Back Day? Cornerback Day?
I hate mayonnaise.
Yeah,
It's
me too.
disgusting. It should be made illegal. It's toxic sludge.
Well, I mean, think about unexpected results. Well, we got one in the game here. Rhett is just, he's literally twitching. He wants to talk about this so bad. So I'm going to go to Rhett first on this one. The DeVito magic. I mean, look, the agent was interesting. That was entertaining. But give DeVito credit for what he did on the field. When they needed it, fourth quarter drive, they get it done. They get a win over the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, I was talking to my buddies in Boston. I obviously worked there for 5 years, and Sean Stellato is from that area, and there's definitely some stories about some fun stuff that he's done and support of his clients, which is pretty cool. And this was it was just like everyone was kind of like all in on it, right? I mean, you had him up there with the dad, and they're all and like it's just like this phenomenon right now. Like, honestly, think about this. Like, it feels like Lynn's sanity back when Jeremy Lin was playing with the Knicks. It's like Tommy DeVito has just like found, has struck gold here with the Giants. And I think they're doing a good job with him, and he's playing well enough to win these games. Let's give him the credit too. But I think Brian Daboll, kind of like the way, we've been talking about the way that Zach Taylor and the Bengals have put Jake Browning in a good position. I think Brian Daboll and the Giants have done the same thing. They ran for 200 yards last night. And Tommy DeVito was responsible for 70 of them. I did not see that really being a huge factor for him when I watched him, that last year at Illinois, that mobility. 10 carries, 71 yards. Most of them were on scrambles, but the one design run he dang near scored on Made a terrific move in the secondary for extra yards. Now, look, they're taking care of him in the pass game a little bit. 12 of his completions were within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage or behind it. He only completed one. He only really threw one ball beyond 20 yards in the air, and it was a flea flicker that he probably shouldn't have thrown, but ends up getting completed anyway, because why not? We're in DeVito mania right here. So I just think that, like, outside of that one play, he doesn't really play outside of himself. He kind of understands what's being asked of him. And then when he needs to make a big-time throw, bang, he made it right here on your screen to Isaiah Hodgins for that touchdown, as you were talking about earlier, Deech. Like that, look, it's fun. Like, live it up while it lasts. Like, who knows how long it's going to last, but let's enjoy the ride.
Look, this is a great story. It's a great story for Tommy DeVito, because you talked about him at Illinois, but watching Tommy DeVito since he was in high school, played at Don Bosco right there in Jersey, big time program, was a big time recruit that went to Syracuse. For whatever reason, didn't work out there, finishes up at Illinois. But what I've seen is the talent has always been there. Like, this was a guy that was a 4 or 5 star recruit. He is showing up with the arm talent. You're seeing the athleticism. The one thing that strikes me is the likability. There's something that he presents, he projects, that allows his teammates to really gravitate to him. When you see him after the game with Saquon Barkley, you see Dexter Lawrence with him, there is something about him that he's just kind of the guy. And look, I think is one of the things that when we're doing quarterback evaluations, maybe we need to dig a little deeper and see, like, that character, how they get along, how they interact with their teammates. Because as much as we talk about it being a talent position, it's a leadership position, and you have to be able to connect with your teammates. Tommy DeVito has connected, and it's one of the reasons as a rookie backup, he's been able to have a lot of success with the New York Giants.
Yeah, and on the other side of things, guys, the Packers turned the ball over again, sloppy. That's kind of the theme for the week. When you look at these teams that are the favored teams and games they should probably win, they don't protect the football. So that's what gave Tommy DeVito the opportunity to go ahead and win this ball game. But watching at the end of the game, Rhett, you talked about the throws behind the line of scrimmage. Again, when you can run the ball with a young quarterback, when you can run it and when you can give them easy completions. And I did not understand what Green Bay was doing defensively, by the way, at the end of the game. I mean, get up and challenge these guys a little bit. They just let them kind of easily get down the field in field position, in field goal position. Didn't make any sense to me whatsoever there. So, anyways, go ahead, Rhett.
Can I ask you guys, this question, because look, and no one's trying to put a wet blanket on what's been a lot of fun to watch here with Tommy DeVito, but like, let's understand, this scenario here, because we all kind of got caught up in Josh Dobbs mania for a while with the Arizona Cardinals, and then again with the Minnesota Vikings, and now we're talking about him probably heading back to the bench here at some point. Like, it's great when these guys come out and perform, when they're given their opportunities, when their team needs them to perform, but ultimately, like, we're not going to go into next season probably with Tommy DeVito as a starting quarterback here, right? There's obviously you paid a lot of money to Daniel Jones, but is this formula sustainable? I guess, DJ, is what I'm asking here with a quarterback like DeVito for these Giants. Is they're just sitting here, a game back of the 7th wild card spot here.
Yeah, I think the difference now is we live in a world where Brock Purdy exists. So, whether or not you agree with it or not, these guys are going to be given a chance. They're going to be given a longer leash to see. It's opened your mind up, Buck, if you're looking at any situation now, because after Brock Purdy's first good game, when he was thrown into the mix, it was, oh, that's kind of cute. Maybe this is Nick Mullins again. Maybe this is like a Case Keenum, a little 3-4 game magic here. They found a little something, but no thought in your mind this is going to be the future at the position. I think the Brock Purdy situation changes things for guys like DeVito. I don't know that he's going to be able to maintain this level of play, but you got to keep your mind open in the thought that if he does, then it changes your thinking.
Yeah, look, DJ, I'm with you on that. I think you have to be open to it. You have to be open to a situation where it appears that a player really works well within the system. Now, a lot of this is Brian Daboll and Mike Kafka doing a great job of setting Tommy DeVito up for success. But somebody falls on Tommy DeVito, playing within his limitations, not trying to do too much, understanding how to play the game, situational awareness, and those things. He has done it, and we have seen him get better and better and better. Look, he's 3-1 as a starting quarterback for the New York Giants, and the Giants were struggling. I'm not saying that he should be the starter, but certainly in a league that is devoid of quarterback depth, he certainly has earned the right to be on the Giants going forward as they continue to develop him and just kind of see where the possibilities end up.
And no doubt. It's been a fun story. It's been fun to watch on the field, but also a fun story. The NFL does an unbelievable job of giving the public something new, something you never thought you'd think about, or a storyline that just came out of left field. This year, right now, the last month, it's Tommy DeVito. So enjoy it while it lasts. Hopefully the ride continues on a little bit longer for the Giants. All right. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to jump into our rookie scores from last week, see how we're doing. I think it's a pretty close race. We'll jump into that right after this.
Welcome to Game Day View. Patrick Claybon here with my pals Greg Rosenthal and Cynthia Freeland.
Micah Parsons is the best pure edge rusher I've seen come into the league.
Jalen Ramsey's not playing. This is an opponent that they're very familiar with. So I expect big things from Mac Jones.
I think the Ravens win in a close one by 1 point. Just one, which is math that I could do.
Hey, that NFC North defense looked pretty darn good last night.
Josh, you're breaking Cynthia's heart. You were her MVP pick, but there's still...
I'm not worried, bro.
This is the NFL Report, where we're going to dissect the biggest storylines across the NFL.
Wow, Jane, I thought we said replace a legacy quarterback. I thought you were going to drop a Mitch Trubisky in there. But to do that, with the image of Nick Bosa having a beer belly is like something I don't think any of us could even, we couldn't even draw a cartoon of, because this guy is absolute Superman.
You went into pretty much every Hall of Fame this summer. I think it was high school, college, Sun Belt, the NFL. Do you have a favorite?
The Saturday Showdown is back this Saturday with an exclusive triple header live on NFL Network. Watch the Vikings and the Bengals at 1 p.m. Eastern, followed by Steelers Colts and Broncos Lions in prime time Saturday, December 16th, only on NFL Network and streaming on NFL Plus. All right, let's get into the rookie draft. We do this each and every week on the show. We look back first before we look forward, guys. Last week, Buck had a strong week. He's very much back into the mix here. Will Levis gets him the 3 points. Then he picks up a second-place finish with Jahmyr Gibbs and Puka Nacua. Rhett got 3 points off of Zay Flowers. Tough luck on the C.J. Stroud injury, by the way. I was able to secure the 3 points at the running back position for Bijan and a point for Aiden O'Connell, which I don't know how that happened. They got shut out. But right now that puts Buck, he's only 6 behind me. Rhett's 6 behind me. Bucky is 7 behind me. You guys are right there as we go into week 15. All right. It's my turn to go first, guys. And CJ Stroud has been the number 1 pick for quite some time now, but because as we're recording this, it doesn't look great for him after the hit last week. So I'm going to go back to what we used to do at the beginning of the year when we were doing this rookie draft, and I'm going to go, Buck, with Bijan Robinson with my first pick, hoping to pick up those 3 points as they play the Carolina Panthers, which, by the way, I've been getting roasted on Twitter because people have found a draft day tweet where I said the Carolina Panthers, with this new look offense, could win 10 games. And guys, spoiler alert, they will not be winning 10 games this year. They have one
Which
win.
part of the new look
I went back and
were
looked
you
it up, Buck.
excited about?
I was, it was draft day. They had Bryce Young. This is the thing. They won 7 games last year. I'm like, okay, Bryce Young. I like Bryce Young. He's good. And and maybe with Miles Sanders and Thielen, add them into the mix here. Maybe they can get 3 more wins. This young defense. Yeah, that was not a great take. Anyways, that's been brought back to light. Not a great setup there. But I'll go Bijan against that illustrious Carolina Panthers team with my first pick. Buck, you're up next.
Oh wow, okay, I'm up. So let me grab a running back real quick since I leave Rhett to find somebody. So I'm gonna take Jahmyr Gibbs from the Detroit Lions. Let's see if he has a better week this week. See if he can get up and going, and we'll let Rhett kind of dig around the bargain basement to see if he can find a running back of his choice.
Okay. No problem. So I'm going to leave my running back for the last overall pick, which is also mine in this draft. Don't need to take one here. What I will take is the first quarterback off the board. And I mean, guys, it's Will Levis, right? It's got to be Will
Not
coming
DeVito?
off his performance. I mean, DeVito's winning games. Is he putting up numbers? I don't know. I mean, this is a numbers game here in the fantasy draft. Plus going down to New Orleans in the Dome, who knows there. I did consider a revenge game possibility here with Jake Browning going back to the team that I think originally signed him in the Minnesota Vikings. Consider that.
Rookie. It's like his 9th year in the league.
Is he a rookie?
Wait, that's
right. A rookie. What are we doing? Right. NBA stuff like he's Chet Holmgren.
That's right. Sorry. I'm thinking of first-time starters. All right, scratch it. Give me Will Levis. Gosh, tough crowd over here. Nice. Will Levis, and then I'll get my first choice of receivers
Mahomes? Who are you going to take next?
Take Mahomes? Like, your calculations.
Doesn't it feel like he should be a rookie, though? Okay? It feels like it, right?
Good, nice.
All right, so I'm going to take Zay Flowers was good for me this last week, going up against Bucky's Jaguars here in a big game in the AFC. Man, I think, though, I'm going to go Puka at home against the Commanders here. I know that Commanders team has been rough on the defensive edge. So give me Puka with my back-to-back pick here. Puka and Levis.
Oh, wow. Okay, there we go. So look, I'm maybe a little recency bias. I'm gonna go with Tommy DeVito. Let's bring this in. Wow. My guy is hot. He's popping. The Giants are back. They're in the playoff mix. Everything is exciting. So I'm digging it. I'm digging it all in New York.
All right, DJ, back-to-backs, huh?
All right, I've got back-to-backs here. Let's see. I've got the Ravens against the Jags. I do like picking players that are playing against Bucky's team when Bucky's in the building because I like him to be on the sideline, see a big play, and just have it hurt doubly. So I'm gonna go with Zay Flowers with my first pick, and then now I've got to go quarterback. Guys, I'm not loving the setup here with.
Yeah, he's still available.
Man.
Yes, there is one available. Go back to Aiden. He got you the 1 point. Go back to Aiden.
Aiden O'Connell in a
You're going to watch him against the Chargers.
Sacked him 13 times in the last time they played. Oh, my goodness. I watched Bryce last week, guys. It was not good. I can't do that. I don't love this, but Aiden O'Connell got me a point last week, so I'm going back to back. Wow. We got shut out last week. Maybe they score a touchdown this week. We'll see. I'll go Aiden O'Connell.
Guys, can you imagine the internal conflict of calling the game for your team while hoping that the opponent's quarterback?
It's called conceding. It's called conceding. Woo! It's conceding. I'm not getting a point from the quarterback position. I just concede. That's it.
Oh man, I get it. That's tough. And so what's also tough? I saw Justin Jefferson get hit and. We don't know if he's going to play, so that would appear to maybe elevate Jordan Addison to maybe
get Addison back in the lineup.
Catch the ball over the middle of the field. So let's go with Jordan Addison. JJ's out. That means JA should be able to get busy.
Interesting. Okay. So I just want to bring to light that Bucky is starting an undrafted free agent quarterback over the number 1 overall pick this year at quarterback, which just let that sink in for a moment. I don't blame you.
Well, hold on, wait a minute. I'm not the only one that bypassed number 1 overall.
No, that's true. That's true. But you're the only one that chose an undrafted free agent. Look, I mean, DeVito is definitely outplaying that status for sure. And I think I would have done the same. So final pick, I got to get a running back. And I feel like if Tyreek Hill is maybe a little bit less than, maybe we get more Devon Achane in this game. So let me go back to Achane, even though he got me the big goose egg this week. So I go with Levis, Puka, and Achane on my squad.
I like that. It's a good draft. Solid draft right there. We'll see how this shakes out this next week. Man, I do not love the quarterback options as we sit here in week 15. I'm just trying to nurse a lead, boys. I'm just trying to 4-minute offense here. That's it. 4-minute offense. Just try and get a point or two and hold on. That's all I'm trying to do is hold on. All right, we're going to take a little break. We come back. We'll jump into the AFC playoff picture right after this.
This is NFL Game Day Preview. I don't know what I just said.
It's going to be a challenging game for both defenses. Look for a lot of points to be scored.
Oh, look at this. He's adjusting the camera. That's a
Oh, look at it. This is just me hoping my arm doesn't, give away.
Travis Etienne maybe is the guy that stirs this entire thing as an offense. He's one of the best running backs in all of football.
I mean, National Tight Ends Day. Why is there not a National Defensive Back Day?
I hate mayonnaise. It's disgusting. It should be made illegal. It's toxic sludge.
Welcome to the NFL Fantasy Football Show. It's me, your man MG Marcus Grant, joined by Michael F. Florio.
I like all three of them. I actually have all three as starts this week.
He's the guy who took over last week, played the majority of his snaps in the second half after Deontay Johnson.
Better things than last season, and I think they're going to have to throw the ball a whole lot more.
Appreciate you hanging out with the NFL Fantasy Football Show. Enjoy the week, everybody. We'll talk to you again real soon.
Hey everybody, DJ, Bucky, Rhett with you here on Move the Sticks, and we got some good stuff to get to. But I do want to start off by saying, Buck, how do you feel about supporting a team that pays the best player in the world less money than you're making right now, considering the Dodgers only paying Ohtani $2 million a year and him deferring all that money? I just want to know how you felt about that. If you're okay with that.
Well, you know what? I like team players, and I think what that shows you is that Showtime wants to put it all about the team. He's going to take less money. He's just there for the team. He'll get it on the back end. So I appreciate it. I appreciate the best player going to play for the best team in MLB. I love it.
Showtime Dodgers.
Yeah, I went a long time without asking him that. Yeah, I went a long time without asking him that question, but it just kind of fell out. It just fell out a little bit right there. All right, well, let's give everybody an update here. The Saturday Showdown is back this Saturday with an exclusive tripleheader live on NFL Network. You can watch the Vikings and the Bengals at 1 p.m. Eastern, followed by Steelers, Colts, and finishing up with the Broncos and Lions in primetime Saturday, December 16th, only on NFL Network and streaming on NFL Plus. That's going to get us to a couple topics I want to hit here. First of all, looking at these 7 and 6 teams, when you have these three right here specifically, the Bengals, the Steelers, and the Colts, of those teams, guys, who are we believing in the most? I almost should add the Denver Broncos into that mix with how they've been playing as of late. But Buck, I'll start with you there. Who do you believe in?
I'll say the Bengals right now because the Bengals have the most talent on the perimeter. When you think about what they have, Jake Browning is just playing a good job of just being a pass-first point guard, but the weapons don't change. You still have to worry about Jamar Chase. You have to worry about T. Higgins. You have Tyler Boyd who can work the middle of the field. And you always have this running game that's beginning to reemerge with Joe Mixon and Chase Brown. This offense is efficient. Zach Taylor has figured out how to work it with the quarterback. It's a very dangerous team. And the thing that we should know is this team has a Super Bowl pedigree. They went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago, AFC Championship game last year. If they get close and they can sniff the postseason, they know how to get it done. I think we're beginning to see that materialize right in front of our eyes.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I trust the Colts right now. I think Shane Steichen has proven his mettle as a head coach in his first year in that role there in Indianapolis, dealt with a ton of adversity with the whole Jonathan Taylor situation. They navigated that very well. And then obviously Anthony Richardson goes down first quarter of the season, and you turn to Gardner Minshew. Great work, obviously, by the personnel team to bring a quality backup in who's, a proven starter in this league and has given them some big-time play. I mean, they were on a 4-game win streak before falling at Cincinnati this week, and they've got a massive matchup exclusively on NFL Network in the middle game of the triple header this Saturday as they take on Pittsburgh at home. And I like Indianapolis to win that game, and I like them to find their way into that 7th and final wild card spot. Just looking at where they're at in the final 4 weeks of the season. So they'll kick it off the final quarter against Pittsburgh, as we were talking about, and then Atlanta, Las Vegas, and Houston. 3 very winnable games for this Colts team. And if they can get Jonathan Taylor maybe back for, half of these next 4 games, I feel really good about the way the defense is playing too. Obviously, this last week notwithstanding, but give me the Colts in this one, DJ.
Yeah, I like that. I think both those are good answers. I don't have a lot of confidence in the Steelers there. I would just add quickly, I mentioned it at the top, the Denver Broncos have won 6 of 7. And when you look at their schedule going forward remaining, they got a tough one at Detroit That's coming up. That is going to be on our schedule here. That's a big one. After that, they've got New England at home. The Chargers, who we're just finding out, are going to be led by Easton Stick for the remainder of the season. Justin Herbert's out for the rest of the year with that finger. And then they finish up at the Raiders and Aiden O'Connell. I mean, this is – if they could beat Detroit, they could run the table, not only get into the playoffs as a wild card, they're right in the mix to win the division if Kansas City were to stumble down the stretch here. So I would not sleep on the Denver Broncos for sure. Which leads me to the next question, by the way. In terms of surprises – when you look at that game specifically, are you surprised by this kind of emergence of the Broncos, or are you more surprised by the Lions and their collapse? Go ahead, Buck.
I think it was the Lions collapse. I mean, this is a team that we thought was built the right way in terms of like their toughness, their physicality, just kind of how they've kind of embraced being the bully on the block. And early in the year, we were talking about this team being right behind San Francisco in terms of their ability to impose their will. Well, the last few weeks, we have seen this team get kind of knocked around. We saw the Chicago Bears really hand it to them. So I'm worried. I'm worried as we're getting into like the stretch run. This team is not ascending, they're descending. And I wonder if they can turn it around. So, yeah, I'm worried about the Lions because the Broncos are going to give them everything they want, and the Broncos are beginning to kind of find their way with their identity under Sean Payton.
I think it's a good lesson. Obviously, watching the Broncos this season is a good lesson. And then just quickly following up on what you're saying about Detroit, I mean, there's a very real opportunity considering what the Lions have left, starting with this primetime matchup in our finale on Saturday night on NFL Network, taking on the Broncos, but then they've got 2 of their next 3 matchups are against the Vikings. If the Vikings can find a way here, I mean, you might be talking about the Lions like losing the division. And we thought for a while they were running away with this thing. They're sitting at 9-4. The Vikings are 2 games back, and they've got 2 matchups against the Lions coming up. So that's going to be pretty interesting. Obviously, it depends a lot on what Minnesota does at quarterback there. But I think that part of it makes it even more surprising for me with Detroit is that we're looking at a stretch run here where we're not so sure that they are going to win this division. Now, I think it's still likely, obviously, with the attrition that the Vikings have had, but they got to figure out a way here. I mean, like the Saints, have been one of the more frustrating teams to watch, especially offensively, and they gave the Lions a run for their money. Now, credit Detroit for getting a win in that game. But, man, they let the Saints back into that game. I mean, you're watching Jimmy Graham, score touchdowns there. I mean, like, there's some issues that Detroit needs to get fixed. Turnovers, one of them. And then they got to figure things out on the defensive side of the ball a little bit. But I think I am a little bit more surprised at what's gone down here with Detroit. And this is not a full-fledged collapse, DJ, but it could be, which kind of makes everything that much more surprising.
Well, and I'd be a little nervous with this Broncos team, when you're getting ready to face this group because defensively they're playing great over the last 5-6 weeks. Vance Joseph has these guys very, very, very dynamic with what they're doing with their pass rush right now in terms of guys coming from all over the place. They're going to challenge your communication up front, and they can cover on the back end. They've got some stars in the secondary. So this defense was talented. We knew that. Off the last few years, they started out terrible, but they have found their groove. So you're going to have a tough time going up against that group. And on the other side, situational football, Sean Payton and Buck talks about all the time, right? I mean, end of half, end of game, they're really good on the gotta-have-it drives. Russell Wilson can still use his legs. He's very judicious with when he does it, but he can still use his legs when necessary to get you that key first down. It's going to be a tough matchup for the Detroit Lions. And if they lose this game, guys, Rhett, you mentioned those games with Minnesota with a visit to Dallas on December 30th. We could be talking about a team that went from kind of the surprise last year, the darlings of the NFL, to one of the bigger disappointments and collapses if they don't finish this thing off right. And it starts with this game against the Denver Broncos. I would be a little bit nervous if I were a Detroit Lions fan at this point in time. Rhett, I don't want to spend too much time on this Thursday night football preview, but we need to do it. We got to cover it. I'll be there. It is going to be Easton Stick and the Chargers taking on Aiden O'Connell and the Las Vegas Raiders. I have to go there. I'm going to be there. Can you give me a reason why people should want to watch this ball game? I'm putting you on the spot. Go.
Oh, buddy. Max Crosby. I mean, just watch Max Crosby eat, watch him play every snap of the game. That's really what I'm kind of pointing to here. And especially with a younger a less experienced quarterback in Easton Stick, who's getting set for a big time moment here. 2-5-8 teams, not technically out of it, but certainly feels like whoever loses this game and with Herbert now out for the season, the outlook is pretty bleak for LA. But, for the Raiders, can they run the football offensively? I know Josh Jacobs is a little bit banged up right now. Can you get Aiden O'Connell back to managing the game and using that accuracy that he showed at times to push the ball down the field a little bit? I don't know. I just think, a lot of times Max Crosby is worth the price of admission. So that's really the best I can give you there, Deej.
Good effort. Good effort.
I mean,
Buck, I would add one thing real quick, Buck. Khalil Mack sacked Aiden O'Connell 6 times the last time these two teams met. So Max Crosby on one side, Khalil Mack, who, look, I know the Chargers defense hasn't been great all year. They've played better over the last month, Buck. But Khalil Mack, I believe, leads the league in sacks. He should be in the mix for the Defensive Player of the Year. And if he gets another 6-pack in this one, he'll be sitting at 21, and you just give him the award.
I mean, he is playing well. That's the thing. So, look, there'll be some intrigue there. Khalil Mack playing one of his former teams. My eyes will be on Antonio Pierce to see if he can do a better job than Josh McDaniels did the first time that they squared off. Lost a tough game, 3-0 to the Minnesota Vikings. They're playing better, but let's see if they can get something to show for it. And you're right, Red. Both the teams are technically still in it, but it only feels like one of them maybe has serious playoff aspirations, and that would be the Raiders, but they have to win to kind of stay in the mix.
I was going to give Red another bite at the apple, but I think he's exhausted all that he has to offer on this game. There's nothing else. That's nothing else you can add. We'll see. Maybe this will surprise Al. Maybe this will surprise Al and Kirk. We'll get a great game, and maybe this is the Easton Stick game. We've had the Tommy DeVito games. Maybe this is the Easton Stick coming out party here. Yeah, there we go. We'll see what happens. Anyways, we did our best to sell that game. We tried. We absolutely tried. All right, let's take a quick break. We come back. We will jump into the defensive side of the ball, and a defense that's made quite a resurgence after the acquisition of a pass rusher. We'll jump into that right after this.
All right, it's a new year. Welcome to the Power Rankings. That crown this year has been handed from Dan Hanzus, not here, to Eric Edholm. Eric, obviously, it's your job to defend all of these, and there's no easy way to do this.
Jets pinned all their hopes on Rodgers. They've got a banner defense.
I think it's hard to accept for me that the Jets are now the 9th best team in football with Zach Wilson at quarterback.
Welcome to Game Day View. Patrick Claybon here with my pals Greg Rosenthal and Cynthia Freeland.
Micah Parsons is the best pure edge rusher I've seen come into the league.
Jalen Ramsey's not playing. This is an opponent that they're very familiar with. So I expect big things from Mac Jones.
I think the Ravens win in a close one by 1 point. Just one, which is math that I could do.
Hey, that NFC North defense looked pretty darn good last night.
Josh, you're breaking Cynthia's heart. You were her MVP pick, but there's still...
I'm not worried. I'm not worried, bro.
All right, it's time for Sacks and Quarterbacks presented by Campbell's. And the Chicago Bears surprised some people when they made the move to trade for Montez Sweat. They gave up a second-round pick in next year's draft. But you can look at the way the defense has turned around. In weeks 9 through 14th, they are 8th in points per game allowed. A huge jump up from 28th where they were previously. Yards per game, 4th. Used to be 23rd. 4th in yards per game passing allowed after being 30th. And then takeaways, that's been a product of that pressure, 3rd in the league after being tied for 22nd. So major improvements on the defensive side of the ball for the Chicago Bears. Buck, I'll get over to you on this one. I know it's just one player. And still, when you look at the sack totals for the year, I think they have 21. It's still a low total. But Montez Sweat has given this front some life, and it's really transformed this defense. Can one guy, are you going to give him the sole credit here, or is there other credit to go around?
No, I think there's a lot of credit to go around, but he certainly made a difference. And Montez Sweat had an opportunity to leave, I would say, a very talented front line with the Commanders, but he has a chance to be the guy for the Bears. And sometimes when you get more responsibility and a bigger paycheck, maybe you take that responsibility to lead the team. And so he's done a really good job with that front line. The other thing that has been in play, Matt Eberflus took over the play calling. After whatever situation happened with Alan Williams, Matt Eberflus became the primary defensive play caller. He has been able to put kind of his own stamp on this defense. This defense is playing much like those Indianapolis Colts defense played under his direction. They're flying to the ball. They're doing a really good job of keeping the ball in front, and they are finding a way to take it away. Look, it was a bad situation, but it's really a good situation now that Eberflus has done it. I think he's done a lot to really make a strong campaign to stay on the job because the Bears are playing much better over the last month.
Yeah, and I think Montez Sweat is a big piece of that. I mean, I think when we go back to start this season, this was a team that was virtually without any name brand impact edge rushers. Then they ended up getting Yannick Ngakoue late, and then obviously traded for Montez Sweat, and it's made a big difference. I mean, Sweat's got 3.5 sacks in each of his last 3 games, so he's really making an effort. I mean, you want to talk about the total pressures. I mean, my goodness, he's up near, over 20, up near 30 in pressures since he's joined the Bears in these last 5 games. He has not slowed down one bit. It has not taken him very long to get accustomed to this Matt Eberflus scheme, and I think we're seeing, that he benefits from it a little bit. And he's a really good player, and I think he's better. And in fact, I think he's probably far better than anything that you were going to find in terms of immediate impact in the second round of the draft, which was one of the picks that they ended up giving up for Montez Sweat. So I think that was a savvy move by Ryan Poles. Obviously one that kind of raised some eyebrows, like, whoa, why are you trying to do that sort of thing when you can, try to rebuild this thing through the draft? But players like Montez Sweat aren't going to be there when the Bears are on the clock in the second round, that can give you that kind of impact. So maybe down the road they could, but ultimately I think that was a big time move, and it's proved some heavy dividends.
Yeah, Montez Sweat only 27 years old, by the way, so still plenty of good football left for him. Has the contract done. They're in great shape there going forward. So, it's looking like a very good move. Justin Jones, by the way, former Charger, popped on the tape a little bit when I was watching all their pressures and sacks. Doing a nice job there at the defensive tackle spot. Rhett, I'll start with you on this one as we kind of transition here with the Bears going forward. I said on TV on Sunday, which man, there's a huge Justin Fields fan base out there that if you say anything about the Bears moving on, they lose their minds. But let's, for this exercise, say that they do something I don't think they will do, which is they stick with Justin Fields, who's played well. Look at the numbers in his last 17 starts; it's been pretty good, but hasn't had the fumbles and hasn't been able to stay healthy. Those are probably the 2 biggest issues. But let's, for this exercise, say they use these 2 first-round picks, 1st and 5th overall. They don't have a 2 currently because of that Sweat trade, but they do have 1 pick in the 3rd round and a couple picks in the 4th round. If we use the Justin Fields model, that they're going to stay with Justin Fields, give him the 5th-year option, and continue down that road and build around him, what would be your priority here in this upcoming draft if you were the Bears, Rhett?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd go offensive line, pretty quickly there. Whether it's, I mean, we'll get into the names, here shortly. But tackle from Penn State, tackle from Notre Dame. Where are you going? One of those picks, one of those early picks, has to be, an offensive tackle here and an offensive lineman. One way or another. I think if you're really gonna go for it with Justin Fields. And then, if you're in a position to get, arguably the best receiver that's come out of the draft in the last 10 years, I'd probably make that move too if I could. And if I'm getting out of the number, all right, so here's the question. If they're staying at number 1, they're getting out of the number 1 overall. I mean, if they're staying with Fields, they're getting out of the number 1 overall pick again, right?
100%.
Yeah. So, I mean, how do we then judge what kind of haul they're going to get, from that type of pick with that type of player available at number 1 overall? Man, that's kind of tough to forecast. But I think offensive line, I think you continue to try to beef up the defense a little bit. But I would say offensive line and wide receiver. Like if we're going all in on Justin Fields, let's give him every opportunity to win, Buck. You know what I mean?
No, I'm with that, and I might be more in line with the Cam because when I look at the roster, I think this roster still has plenty of holes in it, and I don't know if a new quarterback at the top is going to do anything. I know we get a chance to reset the clock at the position, but They still need to upgrade what they do at the line of scrimmage, offensively and defensively, because they need people on the interior at both sides, and they need to be able to dominate. And without Justin Fields, I just worry about that. As everything.
Well, the Bears turned the lights off on you, I guess, Buck. But DJ, I know you're still there. They're not into that. They're like, how do we get this guy off the tube? So, Deej, my question.
I think that's
I'm
a pretty good sign
exercise.
that they might take the quarterback.
That's it. They're like, wait a second.
The league office shut down that idea.
Shut that off.
Let me throw this exercise back to you with another one that we use often here on Move the Sticks. Do you envision Justin Fields, DJ, as a confetti quarterback? Can you picture him with the confetti raining down after winning a Super Bowl with the Chicago Bears?
Look, to me, I don't view Justin Fields currently, with what I've seen through several years, as a Super Bowl caliber quarterback. I just don't. I don't see the consistency there. It's sacks, it's fumbles, and he's done some good things as well, runs the ball. The problem is when you run it like that, you're going to miss games, which he has. I don't think that's sustainable long term. So if you get a chance to get somebody that's younger, cheaper, and better, I think you go in that direction. Then you still have that second pick, that fifth pick, which you can then trade and recoup more assets if you want to get a second-round pick back that you lost in the Montez Sweat trade. I think you could get that accomplished. So I still lean towards going to the future with your quarterback and trading Justin Fields, which you'll get a nice haul for. Sam Darnold went for a 2, a 4, and a 6. So there's plenty of assets right there to try and improve around this football team. Bucky mentioned it. This is a team. I mean, let's be honest, there's a lot of holes on this roster still, a lot of places that you need to fill. And I think if you were trading Fields with those picks, as well as potentially trading your second first round pick, I think you'll be able to use those resources to build around a new quarterback. I mean, Bucky's back on the screen now. I no longer have the world's largest cough drop in my mouth. Things have really picked up here, Buck. It's great to see your face again, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they turned the lights down on me. I guess they want me to change my opinion. So hey, take Caleb Williams or Drake May, whoever you want, Chicago Bears fans. I just want to continue to have the lights stay on in my house. So if that's what you want, we'll give you what you want. Yes, go all in on the quarterback from the 2024
and there go the lights.
And
They're
start
still
the clock
on.
all over. And there you go. The lights are still on.
We're starting over the quarterback clock. There it is. The lights have given us the answer, I think, DJ.
There you go. Yep, there you go. This has been an interesting show. Let's just say that. It's been a very interesting show today. But we powered through it. Sometimes you got to play hurt. Maybe you have the lights, maybe you don't. You never know what's going to happen right here. But I appreciate you guys hanging with us a little rocky road, but we made it to the finish line. We'll see you next time right here on Move the Sticks.